Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we're going to talk about that Apple 4-to-1 split, that Tesla 5-to-1 split. Should you get in? Yes. Well, we're going to talk about it. And welcome to Falsy Optics. Check. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back. As you can see, we're on the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page. And thank you everybody for being here and listening and watching to this video. Please share the video to help other people. And don't forget, we have the join button over here for members to help support the channel, where I give out other information to membership holders, separate videos as well. So please join this button to support the channel. And we're going to get into it, the stock splits. So everybody's heard of the Apple and Tesla stock splits. So I'm going to go through a little history because, as I've mentioned previously, when you're trying to build wealth, Apple has been a big time company for over 30 years. So these guys seem to keep growing no matter what. They have a loyal following, and there's a reason, because they have proprietary software and the way they have their UI works, and millions of people love it, and they're willing to pay the premium for it. So Apple, this is from 2014 when they did a split. Let me see if I brought it up on the screen. Here we go. iPhone, this is previous history when they did a 4-to-1 split and a 7-to-1 split. So 4-to-1 split is upcoming at the end of August. In fact, in 2 weeks, in about 10 days. So you either want to get in on some Apple shares right now, if you have Robinhood, or you have a way to buy even fractional shares if you cannot afford the 400 and some odd dollar price that it's going to be, which is 459 as a Friday was the price. Let's call it 460. And what 4-to-1 stock split means is divide it by 4. So what's that, 115? Yes, that means shares are going to be $115 around August 29th. So you can either buy then or you can buy now, but either way, the shares are going to give you 4-to-1. Now, you do not make additional money. This does not mean you're somehow come out ahead. All they did was just drop the price from 460, let's say, to 115 a share. The same valuation of the company, the same money that the company's worth at 459, it's going to be the same price at 115. Now, here are the times when I used to tell all my friends who have jobs and they have their money locked up in a 401k, mutual funds, whatever they send their paychecks to. And you guys have heard me say this story before. You have to always get in on this type of a company's stock split. And I'm going to go over a little story first so you can see that it's imperative that even if you just bought one share, even if you have Robinhood and Webull where you can get your free share of stock, and by the way, in the description down below, get your free share of stock by downloading the apps and then hooking up your email address and linking your bank account, you'll get a free share of stock 7 to 10 days later. And with Webull, if you deposit $100 or more, they'll give you a second free share of stock. So buy now at Robinhood, they have fractional shares. So even if you can't afford $459 and you say, hey, I can afford $50, at least you have $50 as a fractional share. And when they split 4-to-1, you'll have whatever that fractional share is. So either way, you can get in on it. And traditionally, I'm going to tell you what happened in 2014 because I remember specifically they put on this article that it now costs $94. Well, here's what specifically happened around that time. It dropped. So after it went to the four, I don't remember, four, it wasn't 4-1, it was 7-1 at the time. The stock was around $695, $700 a share, and they split 7-1. Now, during the course of the day, the stock went all the way down to around $70 a share, and then it came back up. And it started at 100 roughly. Okay, then it dropped down to 94. Then it actually went back down to like 81. And I specifically remember calling up my friends who make a lot of money, and I said, hey guys, the shares are $75 a share. You should buy a lot of shares of stock. And then they went in and invoked we put our $700, $800 a month into um, our 401k. And I was like, dudes, how about $800 just on Apple itself? Break out the bank. But of course, because you're in that mindset, invest with the company, all will be well, which, if they're investing that kind of money, they're going to be fine later on. But the only thing is, in a matter of like 6 years, if you would have gotten your, let's call it 10 shares of stock back then, that would have cost you $750. And it hovered there for like 2 or 3 days at 75, 76, 78, 74. It fluctuated throughout the day where you could have bought it under 75. I was calling in when it was 75 because it went down to like 70. So, anyhow, if you would have bought your $750 10 shares of stock right now, that in 6 years it would have been whatever 10 times 460. So it'd be worth $4,600 right now. So just to give you an idea, this is about to happen again, and that's why I say get in right now before the split, and that's why the stock price actually has went up over the last 2 to 3 weeks after they announced the stock split. So let's get down to listen to what this lady who here's the story right here. So I'm going to have a link down below to this article, but here's the story. It was when it closed at 645, and then when it did the 7-1 stock split, it was around $94. And like I said, it fluctuates. Just like when NIO came out with their IPO, a lot of us got in at $6. It went up to $13 or $14 in less than, that same day or 24 hours. So at that point, you had to make a choice: sell it and then just keep some of the profit shares as the profit. Take your profit and keep some as some additional profit. And as you know, NIO went down to almost $2 a share, and now it's up to over 13 again. So a lot of people have won twice. But here's the situation with Apple, because I want to point out something to you, because this is important. See this lady right here who's 74 years old. 74 years old, and she was still investing. Some of you might think I'm too old to invest, that it's too late to invest. You never know how long you're going to live. If you're 40 years old, by rights, you're going to live 40 more years. If you're 50 years old, you're by rights going to live 30 more years. That's a whole nother lifetime. If you're 60 years old, you're going to at least live, I'm going by the average age in America. Other places, we're about 80, a little under 80 years old for men and women. So I'm assuming you're 60 years old, another 20 years. That's a lifetime that your money could be working for you while you're going through whatever you need to go through. So look at this. I just had to bring this out because she's 74 years old. And at the time when they said this, they're going to do a 7-1 stock split, they're giving the story. She didn't waste no time snapping up Apple shares after they split. This lady bought 300 shares on Monday, and she already owns 700. So on Monday when it went down, she bought 300 shares. That same 300 shares, when you start doing that by 6 years later, she's 80 years old. And 6 years later, if she didn't sell her shares of stock, it's 300 times $450 right now, 460. So that is a drastic change, and she didn't have to do anything. And don't forget, Apple still gives you dividend income, even though it's only like 2%, I believe. Let me get over here to the stock itself. Oh, yeah, I forgot. At this price point, at 459, it's under 2%. But if you would have gotten Apple when it was 150, 200, somewhere around there, you were near 2% dividend on your money as well, which She got more than 2% because it was down to 94. So anyhow, she makes double money because there's dividend money and it reinvests itself. So that lady has, I'll do the math on the separate screen that you guys can't see because it's kind of exciting when somebody does the right thing. And they are 74 years old. $138,000 for those 300 shares, ladies and gentlemen. Did you hear me? $138,000 simply because she bought 300 shares when it split. Okay? After the split, not before. So you have to understand. Because right now, if somebody went out and bought the shares today, that the shares are 459, and when they split 4-1, and we're talking about $115 a share, let's just say it was right now in present day. I don't know what the stock will be when it splits, but you would have bought 115 and she would have spent 300, well, 300 times 100 on the shares. So what is that, 30,000? So there you have it. You can't, this is the risk that people take, that a lot of people don't feel comfortable with taking. But luckily the lady had a duffel bag of cash sitting around, and she said, you know what, I'm going to invest in Apple. I believe in them. And she's 74 years old. And now that 30,000 is worth 138,000 right now, and it's about to split again. So that 300 shares she has is going to be 4-1. It's going to be 1,200 shares at the same $115. And now if it rises past 115 like it has done in the past, where it goes up to $200 a share or $150 a share, now she's made, and now we're talking about she's in like $200,000 territory for something she did 6 years ago. This is what I'm talking about. This is why this is so powerful if you are able to pick the right company, and why this is how wealth is created. So I'm going to go further into the story. Everyone in the family owns at least one Apple thing. That's why a lot of people subscribe to the thought of whatever you buy, that's what you may invest in. But either way, I'm just giving you the history. Let's move along, because a lot of people, we're going to get into the Apple and Tesla, but you might be asking yourself what other shares that there might be. And as you can see here in the market beat, somebody else came up with upcoming, they're listing the upcoming stock splits. And here we have, as you can see, coming up in August, ROM. This is interesting here because this is a like ETF type of thing. ROM is the stock symbol, and they do tech companies, and they're doing their own 4-1 split. All right. Now, a lot of you may be saying, what's this 1-15? And Ocwen, I specifically brought up because this is not 15-1. It's 1-15, which means now they're shredding the shares into 15 pieces. So here we have the shares of Ocwen at $21. And when they do that, break it up into 15 pieces, divided by 15, that's what a 1-15 split means. These are going to go down to the basic is going to be $1.50 a share. Okay, so they're shrinking the shares. Instead of, it's not 15-1. So they're not giving you 15 shares for every one share. It's the other way around. So don't be confused when you see these splits. You got to pay attention. You want to see 2-1, 3-1, 4-1. You don't want to see where this other side, the ratio on the right hand side, is more than what they're giving you. You don't like to see this 1-20. That's kind of crazy. But as you can see here, Apple is 4-1 and Tesla is going to be 5-1. And they're giving you the dates. This X date, you need to own the shares of stock before. In this case, I would advise, if you're going to buy before, you do it like now. You don't wait till the 28th. You get it like, because it's got to settle. So you want to get it like this week. All right. Now, after these dates, so on the 29th, I'm assuming, or the 30th, somewhere around there of August, that's when the shares will show in your account as a split 4-1, or maybe August 31st. I don't know when the actual date is. And Tesla seems to be, on the same track for their 5-1 split, which is going to make it affordable. But again, if anybody has fractional shares, you could have already been buying partial shares of Apple and Tesla, even if you don't have the $1,500–$1,600. So just wanted to get into this 4-to-1 split so you guys understand this, and this is how you create wealth. And again, I'm on the page where it just is just a thing where you can see on they've done a 4-to-1 split that they're talking about on August 24th. So you have to be, they tell you right here, you have to be a shareholder of record at the close of business on August 24th for Apple right now. So basically, buy Apple before August 24th or wait till Apple splits and you pay attention to the price because it looks like it's going to be around 120 a share because I have a feeling it'll go up a little bit more before August 24th because more people are going to be buying in. And after as well, people are going to be buying in because after it drops to 115 or 120, there'll be, in theory, more people that can afford that stock price. So you're going to have a rush to more people buying, which now leads to the stock price going up. Supply and demand. Okay? So this is how it works. And then what do? You just hold on to it. And unfortunately, your dividend's only going to be less than 1%. But hey, if they're going to kick you dividend and the price of the share goes up, that's a win. So here we are on the Apple stock. And I just wanted to show you over the course of time, Apple was dead in the water for the longest. Most people don't know in 1990, I can't remember the dates, 95, 96, Microsoft, who is their rival, Apple was going to go out of business and Microsoft gave them money. Unbelievable, right? To help them from going out of business, your rival comes and gives you hundreds of millions of dollars so you stay afloat. Unbelievable. So this is how Apple survived when they should have been dead in the water. All right, Tesla, let's go. You can see the price up there. You guys have heard. Even I was wrong on Tesla because they have never made any money up until last year. It was like a negative. They never made money, but yet their stock price was like 200, 300, 400, just going up. And then the more you look at Tesla, the more it seems like they're a technological company versus a car company. It's like a tech company that makes cars, and instead of the other way around. Now they're turning into a car company that knows all about tech for their cars. So now the mesh is working out much better and they're able to reduce their prices because now they have things in place where they have their battery factory, gigafactories. They're having their car manufactured in old car manufacturing facilities so they don't have to ramp up that way themselves. Elon Musk has been the man, as far as I'm concerned, with just going full steam ahead with his vision and not giving up. And he's not apologizing, and he's just taking it, making it happen. Well, they're on a 5-to-1. So again, you have to take advantage of this, ladies and gentlemen. Stop Struggling Now subscribers, you guys got to be emerging millionaires, and this is how you're an emerging millionaire. I think what's going to happen is, because other companies, as many people have listened to our live streams and heard me talk about stocks, you heard me discuss when Apple said they're going to split 4-to-1. I said don't be surprised if Tesla, Amazon, Google, anybody else says, you know what, we're going to do it too, because their stock prices are so high that it doesn't make any sense. Because up until they came out with fractional shares, how many people have $1,650 per share to spend on stock prices? So this limited the amount of people that could invest. When you lower the price, that means more people can invest. And then when Robinhood and other trading platforms decide to do fractional shares, that has allowed a lot more people to get in, which has boosted up the stocks. And people are saying, why do stocks keep going up? Because people are now able to buy $20 worth of Tesla, $50 worth of Tesla, $500 worth of Tesla without spending the $1,650. So that is why stocks continue to rise. And so somebody did exactly what you or I or anybody else is thinking about money: an emerging millionaire, the CEO of my life. This is what you're thinking of, right? You're not thinking of anything else here. You're saying, hey, where else can I get these 4-to-1 stock splits and keep my eye out, right? Now, I'm not saying invest in everything that splits, but why not? And so another person on Barron's, and I'll have a link down below, or it'll be at the StopStrugglingNow.com website, and we'll have it in where you can actually see the financial information. Go to the financial information page, and I'll have a link to this article there. But as you can see, Barron's decided to do it upon themselves, and here's now 29 stocks with prices of $500 or more that would have the potential to split. And when you see things like, again, I mentioned Alphabet, which is Google, and Google, by the way, is just as strong as an Amazon. Amazon hasn't split yet, but these are the kind of things that, due to their stock price, you would think they would split. Chipotle, which has been a powerhouse. AutoZone, I'm surprised. I didn't know they had share prices this high. Shopify, who knew that was $1,000 a share? I did not. But again, these are tech companies, most of them. Cable One, 1905. I didn't know about this. This is incredible. These are ripe for doing stock splits because their stock price is so high. And so they have 29 on their list. And this is what I was thinking myself. I was like, okay, so how many other big time companies are going to start splitting their shares to make it more affordable? And I just call it what it is, make it more affordable. Other people have their reasons as to why they think that a company's going to reduce their or do the stock splits. But in my mind, it's just straightforward. I'm like, man, come on, let's get real. How many Americans can invest in the stock market? And then second off, because just like that lady who could afford $30,000, how many Americans can really afford $30,000 to get 300 shares in 2014, right? So if you know the top 10% of the wealthiest in America own 88% of the stock market, it helps them out even more because now they can buy a hell of a lot more shares of, if you thought they're buying at 460, how many shares are they buying at 120? So now when the stock price goes up even more, they make even more money. But like I always say, when the one percenters give you a break and a foot in the door, take advantage. And this is how you take advantage, being an ordinary citizen, an OC. So anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I'm almost going to wrap it up here with this, just because I just want to let you understand the power of stock splits and why when you have these big time companies like a Tesla, like an Apple, those are for sure something you should get in before or after the split. No matter how you slice it, you got to get in on some more shares of these companies, and I would expect their price to increase until they split at the end of August. So again, it could be a win-win scenario. Now, let's see, what else do we have here? I think that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to go over today, and keep your eye out on other stock splits that's going to come about, but I'll keep you abreast of it. Don't worry about it. Some of us have a little bit of free time on our hands. So with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. That's why you got to get your Robinhood app so you can get fractional shares if you don't really have enough money to invest in. All you got to do is use a little bit of money to invest. But invest a little, invest a little, invest a little, and the next thing you know, you might have a few thousand, then the tens of thousands, and the 20s of thousands, and before you know it, over a few years time span, you've actually invested money and you weren't out here buying Starbucks, $8, $9 coffees. You weren't over here going out to eat 5 times a week and spending hundreds of dollars, but instead putting hundreds of dollars into the stock market with the top 10 percenters. You want to be a top 10 percenter. That's your goal. You don't have to be a 1 percenter. Just be a top 10 percenter. And everything will be lovely. And you can go where you want, how you want, when you want, wake up when you want. Everybody's dream. And still have checks coming in. Again, keep your head up. Keep moving, and I'm out.